Anton LaVey said at one time, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words, but was something to the effect of, this world is a better place when certain people aren't in it. Now, the opposite can also be true. The world isn't quite as good when certain people aren't in it. Now, a few days ago, I lost a very close friend of mine. His name was Tim. He was a very good man. I've known him for over 20 years, and he was the sort of guy that was always there for you. And he did it because he genuinely liked to help people out. He didn't do it just to say, look at me, or expect something in return. It was just the way it was. An example would be when our home burned down 6 years ago. He invited us to stay at his place for a few days, for as long as we wanted, basically. Actually, he had called us even when the fire was getting near our home. He had called us and said, "Get up here." Now I knew he had health problems, but I wasn't expecting him to die anytime soon. Shit, he was only a year older than me. Like anyone, this shit brings me down. It fucks with my head and my very, very black heart. But there is a method I use to get through this sort of thing. And I brought this up before. It's the idea of Nietzsche's eternal recurrence. Now, some people try to use it as proof that Nietzsche believed in reincarnation, which is bullshit. It has nothing to do with that. What the eternal recurrence is a thought experiment. It was this thought experiment he came up with as a response to existential dread, if you will. And the question is really simple. What if a demon were to come to you and tell you you were to live this life, everything exactly the same, over and over again until the end of time? I don't mean like reincarnation where you get a chance to, live a new life or whatever. No, exactly this life, every fucking thing. It's like a song on a loop, just replaying. How would you react? Does it fill you with dread? Or are you pleased with the idea? Is it a curse or a blessing? Now, Nietzsche uses the image of a demon instead of an angel to suggest that such a visitation would seem frightening, because many of you wouldn't be happy with this idea. This is because your life is filled with misery and pain, and that pain is more often than not self-inflicted, people. It's self-inflicted. And you don't want to relive that over and over again. Now, our Christian friends see pain and suffering as an important part of their existence. Their belief holds that we're cursed from birth with the taint of original sin, and it's our job their job, to live a humble life before the Lord. And if you don't kiss his ass, God won't remove that curse, because the here and now all right. To them, the here and now is a transitory phase, a preface to an eternity of bliss. Because of this, they, the Christians, find the idea of the eternal recurrence to be horrific. It would scare the fuck out of them, because to them, life is a rehearsal for something greater, heaven. this existence is never fully appreciated then. I'm going to ask this, though, to you on the left-hand path. How would you react to the idea of the eternal recurrence? Me, personally, I like the idea. I've mentioned this before. The eternal recurrence is comparable to Albert Camus' interpretation of the myth of Sisyphus, where Sisyphus is condemned to push a boulder up a hill just to have it roll back down over and over again for eternity. This was meant to be a form of damnation, if you will, but Camus asked, what if Sisyphus enjoyed what he was doing? The difference, though, between the two, between the eternal recurrence and Sisyphus, is if you did find out you were going to relive this existence all over again for eternity, you can change your attitude toward life from this point on, meaning from the point you find out about this endless loop. From this point on, you can change your attitude toward existence. It's because if you were to live this life over and over again, you're going to want to have something to look forward to. It's that simple. And if you're not already living your life to the fullest, then what are you waiting for? Existence should be viewed as something to be relished. I mean, all of it, all the happiness, all the bullshit, the pleasure, the pain, all of it. You should be working on having a love of fate, amor fati, as it's called, an acceptance of the whole of life. And the eternal recurrence is a way to force attention on life exactly as it is. Because if you can accept the eternal recurrence, then you can accept the bullshit. It doesn't mean you have to like it, though. And to help with this acceptance, Nietzsche would advise going with the Dionysian worldview of eternally self-creating. The Dionysian attitude toward life is one of aesthetic value that relishes in the destruction of morality, especially the world-denying Christian morality. It's in existence, this view is in existence of always changing. And it's the counter to the puritanical idea of self-denial. In this reality, the existential truths hold no power over you. Change is the only constant, but with change comes pain. And strength is achieved through suffering, and joy comes from overcoming that suffering, that pain. Existence is short, and you can create your own identity through self-realization, doing so without relying on anything transcending this life, such as God and the promise of heaven. This isn't nihilism. It is in truth the essence of Nietzschean thought. It's not about suffering, because you are going to suffer. It's about your reaction to suffering. So, in conclusion, your life should be lived without regret, remorse, or guilt, and should be open to the love of self, to others if they're worthy of it, and to the world, to existence. So, goodbye, Tim. And if I am to relive this life again, reliving our friendship is something I look forward to. Until next time.